Hello everyone. Today I'll be sharing with you my favorite recipe for chili. Chili is one of the most universally diverse dishes that can vary vastly from person to person, country to country, and culture to culture. It can vary from a white chicken chili to a Moroccan vegetarian chili, a tomatoey beef chili to a venison chili with corn and black beans. There really isn't a wrong way to make it. Listed here are the ingredients for about 1.5 gallons of chili, which equals about 12 bowls worth, as well as the cornbread that we are making to go with the chili. We will start off by cutting all of our prepped vegetables and ingredients. First, we will small dice 2 large red onions. If you need a more detailed explanation, please check out my previous video where we discuss cuts and knife handling in great detail. Next, we are going to seed and brunoise 4 fresh jalapenos. To seed the jalapenos, make sure you use a spoon and not your fingers, as well as wash your hands when you're done, or you may regret it. Next, we are going to rough chop our tomatoes to about a medium-sized dice. A nifty trick is to put a wet towel under a sheet tray and another towel under a cutting board on the tray. That way you can catch all the juices from the tomatoes and then just dump them into the chili with ease. Now, at the time of this recording, we were still using inadequate lights and have since upgraded, which you can see in our next video, or stop by the cooking stream sometime and see for yourself. After the tomatoes, we want to chop a half a can of chipotles to a brunoise size. Make sure you save all the adobo sauce as well. Next, we want to chop a half a bundle of fresh cilantro to finish the chili with. For you cilantro haters out there, you can leave this part out. However, I encourage others to try this as it gives this rich chili a bright, fresh flavor. Once we have all the ingredients prepped, we finally start the chili. In a large pot, add just enough oil to coat the bottom and saute the red onions and jalapenos on high heat. Stirring frequently, you want to make sure the vegetables start to caramelize before adding the ground beef. Once the vegetables are cooked, add the ground beef and break it up with a spoon. Make sure you're stirring the bottom of the pan so you're not burning anything. Once the meat is cooked through, add the chopped chipotle and spices. Make sure you taste as you season so that you're not under seasoning or over seasoning your chili. Once the mixture is well seasoned, drain and add the canned beans. I'm using 2 cans of dark red kidney and 1 can pinto. Then add your chopped tomatoes. Make sure you lightly rinse out your tomato cans with a little water and add it to your pot. It will add a little bit more liquid to your chili. Once it comes to a simmer, we will turn our heat down to medium-low and let the chili simmer for about 2 hours, stirring occasionally every 20 minutes for optimal chili thickness. I'm a sucker for thick chili, but if thinner is more your style, then just reduce the cooking time. Once the chili is simmering away, we are going to put our 12-inch cast iron skillet in a preheated 425-degree oven while we make our cornbread batter. For this cornbread, I drew inspiration from a Food Network recipe that is prepared in a similar way. But one ingredient that I think makes the cornbread so amazing is the stone ground medium grind cornmeal. Bob's Red Mill brand is what I recommend, but other types of cornmeal will suffice, it just won't be as good. We're going to measure out our dry ingredients first and then separate from our wet ingredients. We will add those together at the end. First we have 1 1/4 cup medium grind cornmeal, 3/4 cups all-purpose flour, 1/4 cup sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. Mix well to combine. Go ahead and melt your 8 tablespoons or 1 average stick of butter, and we will add it all at the end. Next, for our wet ingredients, we're going to lightly beat 2 whole eggs, 1 cup buttermilk, and lastly 1/3 cup milk. Whisk together until well incorporated. Now we are going to combine our wet and dry ingredients together and using a rubber spatula mix until well incorporated until small lumps remain. Do not overmix. Then pour 1 tablespoon of melted butter into a separate container and add the remaining 7 tablespoons to the cornbread batter. Then carefully remove our preheated cast iron skillet from the oven and drop the temperature to 375 degrees. Add the 1 tablespoon of melted butter into the pan and swirl around until well coated. Pour your entire batter into the pan and throw it into the oven and set a timer for 20 minutes. Now while our cornbread bakes, we will make our honey butter. Start with 3 tablespoons of softened or room temperature butter and add 1 tablespoon of honey. This next ingredient is optional, but you can add a 1/4 tablespoon of ground chipotles for a little smoky kick. Mix until well combined and set aside. During all this, you want to make sure that you keep checking your chili periodically and continue to taste to see if you need to add more seasoning. As the chili cooks down, it will change in flavor and may need to be adjusted. I myself ended up adding more additional seasoning than I originally planned. Don't worry, the adjustments are in the ingredient list at the beginning of this video. Once the chili is cooked down to your desired thickness, about 1.5 to 2 hours, add most of the chopped cilantro and save some for the topping at the end. Once the cornbread is done, use a toothpick to check the doneness in the middle. It should come out clean with maybe a crumb or 2. Now, while the cornbread is still hot, we're going to spread the honey butter all over the top. Once the cornbread is sat for 5 to 10 minutes, go ahead and cut into 16 pieces and immediately shove one into your face because this is probably the best tasting cornbread you've ever had in your life. It will force you to contemplate how all the other cornbreads pale in comparison to the buttery, sweet, golden morsel you just devoured faster than you can say the sentence. It eclipses any and all cornbreads you've ever had, and if you're like me and could take it or leave it, it will turn you into a cornbread junkie. I think I had 3 pieces after this. And with that, your chili and cornbread are done. My personal preference is to highlight your chili with various toppings of your choice. This particular recipe is great with a dollop of sour cream, a sprinkling of fresh cilantro, some of your favorite cheese, I went with a classic sharp cheddar, and some chopped yellow onions I had lying around. This recipe of mine has been a work in progress for years, and this is the final version that makes people come back for more, and often with a Tupperware container for them to take with them. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Feel free to post any comments or testimonials in the section below, and as always, you can follow me on Twitter, where I post daily updates on stream schedule and content. You can find me on Twitch, where we try to do a cooking stream every week, where we film all the footage for these videos. I look forward to seeing you all again, and until next time, peace.